welcome to the Sports Update. I'm Trent McManus. The Junior Canucks were looking to end a 6-game losing streak heading into their final game against the Fort St. John Huskies, but things didn't go the way they wanted them to. Starting just 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the first, Jamie Watson put a puck in the back of the net past Justin Samra to make the game 1-0, and the Junior Canucks special teams wasn't working at all. Halfway through the first, Dylan Houle scored on an assist from Robbie Sidhu, as well as Dalen Pearson. 4 minutes later, Sidhu would add another unassisted goal to his total. After the first period was all said and done, the Junior Canucks were down 3-0. And the second period started off where the first left off. Cale Bell scored his 21st goal this season. Junior Canucks captain Riley Muse has been the only player on the team to put the puck in the back of the net on a regular basis. And he did it again. Nearly 10 minutes into the second, Muse scored his 11th goal of the season to keep the score somewhat reasonable, but it wouldn't stay that way for long. The Huskies scored 3 goals to close out the second frame. Robbie Sidhu added his second goal of the game, and Blair Krasiak scored twice to make the game 7-3 heading into the third. The lone bright spot for the Junior Canucks in the third was when Riley Muse scored his second of the game with 5.5 minutes remaining. Justin Samra only played 26 minutes before he left with what appears to be a groin pull or a knee strain. We're not really sure at this point, but we can confirm it is a lower body injury. Taking a look at the game recap, Robbie Sidhu led the way for the Fort St. John Huskies with a pair of goals and 2 assists. Cale Bell and Dylan Houle scored a goal and 2 assists each, and Blair Krasiak had a heck of a shift in the second period where he scored both of his goals. Heading over to the Dawson Creek side of things, Riley Muse had a pair in a losing effort. John Aylward, Spencer Gover, and Adam Hudemal assisted for the Junior Canucks. Your final from last Wednesday's action was 9-2 for the Fort St. John Huskies. Taking a look at the 3 stars, not surprisingly, all from the Huskies. Starting with the third star, he had a goal and a pair of assists, was Cale Bell. Second star of the game was Dylan Houle. He also had a goal and 2 assists. And finally, the first star of the game was a guy who controlled the game from the get-go, and he had the game winner in the first period that was unassisted. Robbie Sidhu had a pair of goals and wrangled up 3 assists in the contest. Friday night, the Junior Canucks were looking to rebound from the pounding they took from the Huskies. It was the last game of the regular season for the Junior Canucks, and heading into this game, they were on a 7-game losing skid. Junior Canucks captain Riley Muse started the game off right just 25 seconds into the first. He put the Canucks up 1-0. Muse continued his scoring stretch by potting 1 6 minutes later on the power play. Adam Hudemal and Connor Rose assisted on the second marker. It was looking like the Junior Canucks would exit the period with a 2-0 lead. That wasn't the case. Kevin Monteith scored with 4 seconds to go in the first period. Now heading into the second, the Junior Canucks short bench became their worst enemy. North Peace struck 43 seconds into the second, again at 3:43, 4:38, and 4:30 marks in the second period. The only excitement for the Junior Canucks came at 16:34 when Riley Muse potted his hat-trick goal. The latest goal from the captain scored is his last 6 for the Junior Canucks, and the Navigators would score 1 more goal to close out the second. In the third, Josh Peters potted a goal, and the Navigators would go on to score 2 more to finish off the game. Looking at your game summary. With the 9-3 victory, the Navigators improved to 28-5-1. Canucks dropped to 12-21-2. Goaltender Patrick Earl stopped 22 of 25 shots. Nucks goalie Colton Anderson didn't fare well, stopping 25 of 34 for a save percentage of .735. The stories of the game: Dustin Long scoring 3 goals and 3 assists. Josh Peters had a pair of goals and 3 assists. Bon Harlock had 4 helpers. Your Canucks captain Riley Muse, in his final NWJHL regular season game, had a farewell hat-trick, while Adam Hudemal had 3 assists. Now looking at the 3 stars of the game, for the first time in a long time, I can say the third star of the game is from your Dawson Creek Junior Canucks. With 3 goals, Riley Muse gets third star treatment. Second star goes to Josh Peters, who had 2 goals and 3 assists for the Navigators. And the first star of the game, also from the Navigators, was their captain, Dustin Long. He had a hat-trick, but also had 3 helpers along with it. The out-of-town scores from Friday night: it was a rough weekend for Sexsmith. They got rolled 10-3 by Grand Prairie. Beaver Lodge had the same result at the hands of Fairview. Saturday night, Fairview continued their way with a 5-3 win over Huskies, and Slave Lake spoiled the weekend for Sexsmith with a 7-2 win. That's your out-of-town scores from this past weekend. Taking a look at the playoff brackets, the first place JDA Kings will be taking on the league's worst Sexsmith Vipers, who put together only 9 wins this season. Next, we've got second place North Peace taking on the 7th place Beaver Lodge Blades. A little closer to home, the surging third place Fairview Flyers take on the Dawson Creek Junior Canucks. And finally, it's a battle of 4th and 5th place teams, with Slave Lake hosting the Fort St. John Huskies. All games will be announced and played later this week. Moving on to the NWJHL Scoring Leaders, heading into Sunday's action, we were looking at the top 5 scoring leaders, and they were set at number 5 is Huskies forward Robbie Sidhu with 23 goals and 62 points. Number 4 is Ryan Trudeau from the JDA Kings. He has 29 goals and 66 points. Josh Peters, the lone navigator in the top 5, has 35 and 35 for 70 points. Top 2 scorers going head-to-head are both from the JDA Kings. Lyndon Lewis has 44 goals, 44 assists for 88 points. And finally, Nolan Trudeau leads the league with 40 goals and 91 points. Inside the Chetwynd Sports Desk, I'm Trev McManus.